you've ever run out of energy before you feel like you've made real progress on your to-do list for the day, this video is for you. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm here to help you get the most out of your planning so that you can start living the life that you want. And today we're going to be talking about timing. We're going to be talking about the art of timing and specifically orienting it around your daily energy levels. When you peak throughout the day, when you fall throughout the day, that can all really affect how you are organizing your tasks and how you should be planning out your schedule. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about today comes from this book called When by Daniel Pink. We are just going to be talking about the portion of this book that centers around our daily cycles and energy levels today. But if you like what you hear and you want to pick it up for yourself, there is going to be a link down in the description box below, so go check it out. Let's start by talking about why timing matters. We want to think about timing broadly because our happiness and our well-being can really be affected by the timing of things in our lives. So like I said, today we're just going to be talking about the day-to-day moments of that. And when you are thinking about timing critically as you go into planning your day, you can better achieve success in the things that you want to do and make sure that you are well rested during the times when you're more low energy. So it's important to be able to be listening to your body and recognizing the timing that feels most natural to you. Now, Daniel Pink says we have these sort of three different stages during our day. So first we have, let's make a graph here that sort of shows our day. We have the morning, afternoon, and night, or evening, really. And then our energy levels change throughout that period. So in the morning, what ends up happening is that we will have this peak in energy. Up here at the peak, we are really analytical. We are very able to make decisions very quickly. This is usually when we feel like we are at our best, and it typically occurs a couple hours after you wake up. So Daniel Pink says like mid-late morning, but depending on your personal schedule, it might be earlier or it might be later. Our cognitive abilities are heightened, so it's a really good time for analytical work and decision making. Also, anything that you want to focus on, like that will really require a lot of your focus, you want to put here as well. So that's the peak. After that, our concentration starts to dip and we come down into the trough, which is like the dreaded low point of the day. The trough usually occurs mid-late afternoon. Again, depending on your personal schedule, might be a little bit different. But if you've ever like worked at an office job and seen someone just run out for their afternoon coffee or heard of like the 2 p.m. slump, this is what people are talking about. They're talking about experiencing the trough, which is like a low energy, not focused time period for most people during the day. It's when our energy levels just kind of drop. Cognitive performance is a lot lower. Analytical decision making, it's not going to be very easy during this time. You might feel a lot of that brain fog. What this time is going to be good for are tasks that are kind of more mundane, that don't require a lot of decision making, basically. So things like admin work. Sometimes people like to put like emails in here. Maybe your emails require a lot of decision making and you want to answer them first thing in the morning. Again, this is going to kind of depend on you. But sort of like clearing out of the inbox, getting things done that don't really require a lot of decision making, but that can sort of be done on autopilot. Can happen down here in the trough. And lastly, we have the recovery stage, which sort of happens in the evening. We pick back up. It's not all the way at the peak, right? But it's sort of more down here. And this is called the recovery. During the recovery, our energy and our creativity sort of start to rebound a little bit. So I think of it as a creative phase. You can get a lot of creative work done in this period, a lot of sort of brainstorming, nothing that requires you to make a hard and fast decision, but something that will, like maybe research or something that feels more sort of like you're building something, you're creating something, you're putting the pieces together, but you don't necessarily have that same super high-powered focus like you have in the peak. It's going to be less focused, but more free-flowing. So by aligning the things that we have to do during a given day with these natural rhythms that we are already experiencing, we can actually get a lot done and put tasks in the right portion of the day so that our mind is best utilized on our most important stuff in the morning, our more mindless stuff in the afternoon, and our more creative and free-flowing stuff in the evening. So let's give that a shot now by taking a look at our to-do list. So for example, here is a list of things that I need to get done. I have meetings, I need to create an outline, respond to some emails, call Tim back, do the laundry, go to the gym, and create a thumbnail for a YouTube video. This is my sample task list for the day. And these are all tasks that I've actually really had on my to-do list for any given day. I mean, this honestly sounds like Monday to me. So in order to give you an example of what this is going to actually look like, I'm going to be using my Hobonichi Cousin. We're going to be looking at the daily layout, and we're going to be sort of plotting these out in this configuration. But you can use any daily planner that you have. It doesn't have to be the Cousin. It can be another daily planner that I like is the Full Focus Planner. So you can use the Full Focus Planner where it has more of a structure on the page. You can even just use a blank notebook. It's really not that complicated. You can just use what you have. If I'm looking at this scheduler over here on the left-hand side page of the Hobonichi Cousin, I can see it has a little timeline here. It ends at like 3, 4 in the morning, so it ends down right there. And I'm keeping in mind my personal energy levels throughout the day, right? So I typically wake up at about 6 a.m. So I'm awake here. I know from my personal energy levels and from the research, reading, learning we just did with the energy levels from Daniel Pink, that my peak is going to hit at about 9 and it's going to end at about 12:30 or 1. Like that's my golden hour personally. So I'm going to block that off and label it peak. And then my trough typically occurs between that period, so like 1-ish and 3-ish. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, kind of into 3:34. So this is the trough. And then my recovery stage kicks in at like 4 or 5, and between like 4, 5, 6, 7, that's when I'm like on the rise again. This is my recovery period. And then I'm sleeping for the rest of the time. And then I start all over again and I rise again in the morning. So I'm gonna label these more: peak, trough, recovery. So when I'm taking a look at this task list that we just listed out, I'm going to be trying to organize this task list according to those energy levels and that schedule that I have listed out. So things like responding to some emails. I know right away that's going to be an easy one for the trough, right? Because it's kind of mindless. I really just need to say like, thank you for responding. I'm going to forward this to this person. It's going to be easy. So I'm going to put emails in the trough, emails. And then maybe I see doing the laundry. Also a great trough activity because it can also be kind of mindless. It can be done while you're doing other things. So that's another good one for the trough. Now, I know for me personally that my meetings during the day always are going to happen between 9 and 11 a.m. When I have work meetings, that is the time that people schedule them at my office. So those are the times when I'm going to be in meetings. If it sounds to you like that is during my prime activity time during the day when I should be focusing on my peak activities, you are correct. This is the first of many obstacles you might come across when you are scheduling your day according to your energy levels. You are not an island. You have people you need to work with at a day job. You have kids you need to take to school. You have partners who want your energy as well. Like you have stuff going on and you have other people that need stuff from you. And it's not always gonna like fit super neatly into your recovery period or something. So you may have to improvise a little bit. So a lot of times what I do is I know that I have meetings from 9 to 11, right? So I will have that blocked off 9 to 9, 10, 11. So this is going to be like my meetings block. And then I will really vociferously protect the time below my meeting block. So this time between like 11 and 12:30 or 1, this is my high priority time. This is when I can get my peak decision-making analytical tasks done here. Because I can't control the meeting schedule, I kind of have to be at the meeting schedule that my office goes at, so I can be a team player. And I'm gonna be really good in those meetings because it's at my peak, but I do need to get my analytical work done. So for me, creating an outline for a web page, I work in web, and that is gonna be a super analytical task because it's about organizing the information. It's about figuring out what goes what where, how it's gonna work in the human mind, and how people are gonna read a page. So that is actually a very analytical task for me that requires a lot of decision making, and that is a multi-hour task. So that is gonna be the only thing that I do in my peak hours for this day. It's going to be the outline for the page. At this point in the video, I just want to pause and thank our sponsor, which is Skillshare. As regular viewers of this channel will know, I absolutely love Skillshare. They have so many courses on photography, illustration, creativity, productivity, everything under the sun that you could need or want to start a creative project or goal in your life. No goal or project is too small. If you're interested in learning something, Skillshare has your back. One of my favorite courses is Ali Abdal's YouTube for Beginners, How to Start and Grow Your YouTube Channel. When I was starting my YouTube channel last year, this course really helped me get started and get my feet off the ground. I see a ton of comments from you guys saying you want to start your own planner channel, and this course was a huge help for me in taking that first step. It covers absolutely everything, even if you don't know where to start. Choosing a topic, scripting and equipment, filming and editing, even thumbnail design. Honestly, for any project, having a step-by-step guide can make the process so much more rewarding and enjoyable. And as a viewer of this channel, you can explore that course or any other course of your choosing totally for free. The first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thanks to Skillshare again for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. So I have my peak covered, I have my trough covered, I have a few tasks still to do. Calling, let's see, those are happening in my peak hours. Let's look at the other tasks. So I have to call Tim back, I have to go to the gym, and I have to create a thumbnail for a YouTube video. So calling Tim back, that should be pretty easy. That's just a nice little phone call, nothing really too hard. I can probably do that in my trough period because it's just talking to a friend. It doesn't require a lot of energy for me. Now for you, if speaking on the phone is a real anxiety trigger or it holds a lot more brain space for you, maybe that's an activity that you have to do in your peak period, or maybe that's an activity you can only do when you're feeling creative and receptive to another person's energy. For me, I know I can fit it into the trough because I know it's just gonna be a quick short phone call and it's not gonna involve a lot of decision making. So I'm gonna add call Tim to my trough period. And then in recovery. So I've left going to the gym and creating a thumbnail for YouTube to be in my recovery stage. And for me, going to the gym requires a little bit of effort. It is not the easiest thing in the world for me. So it's not a good trough activity for me. For some people, I know that it is. But for me, the recovery period is a really good place to put it because it sort of does require that creative energy. When I'm going into the gym, I want to feel free flowing. I want to be like, what do I want to do? What machines do I want to try? That kind of stuff. So I'm going to put going to the gym in the recovery period and I'll feel really good. My energy levels are coming back up, right? It's a good time to sort of like be more energetic. And then I'll also put creating a thumbnail for YouTube into this period as well, because that is a really creative task. I get to design a little bit, I get to have fun with it. And then I'm sleeping, and then that's the end of my day. I do my night routine, and I am off to dreamland, so to speak. So you can see how being aware of our personal energy levels means we can take advantage of our peak times, we can be aware of our trough times, and we can get our energy back in the recovery period and really make sure that at each of these stages, we are plotting out and planning our most appropriate tasks for those times. Like I said, sometimes you're going to have things that are like meetings in the morning that you can't skip because they're with your boss or they're with a friend that the only time that they can meet is in the morning or whatever. So everyone's schedule is going to be a little bit different and you might have to be flexible day to day, but you can come to each day with this in mind and sort of plan out your schedule according to what you see that you have to do, what's non-negotiable, what can't you move, and then what sort of flexible time do you have in between. And this also really depends on your personal lifestyle, right? So if you work night shifts, your schedule is going to be totally different. Your peak time is going to be a couple hours after you wake up, which is probably going to be around like 1 or 2 p.m., right? If you're working all night. Or if you have to get up really, really early, say you're dropping the kids off at school at 7 a.m. By that time, you've already been up for 2 hours, doing your morning activities, prepping meals for the day or something like that. Your peak period may be a little bit different. Your trough period may hit like late morning instead of in the afternoon. And you might need to fit your highest priority tasks somewhere else in the day. So this is not meant in any way to be like a strict, rigid schedule. You really want to work with it and see when you feel most naturally high energy, low energy, and when you feel that sort of recovery start to happen. If you're going to take just one tip from this video, it is to respect your trough time. Trying to get analytical or decision-making tasks done in the trough time is literally the worst. It is so bad, and it is responsible for a lot of my personal procrastination or hesitation or anxiety around big, high energy tasks that require my full focus because I will end up leaving them for the afternoon, which is when I know I'm in my personal trough. And if I do that, it makes my anxiety spike and then I'm all a mess for the rest of the day. So make sure you're respecting your trough. You'll notice that when I planned out my day, I put some stuff in my trough first. I didn't actually put my peak or my recovery first. I went right for the trough because I knew what I could get done there. And I filled that time up because that time is going to be just your basic, your low energy tasks that you need to do basically so that your brain can rest. And I'm a big believer in the fact that like, if you're not taking your rest time, if you're not listening to your body, you're really not going to be able to come back and recover and come back to your peak performance the next day because you're going to be having all this anxiety. You're going to not feel like you gave your body a break, like you gave your brain a break in the afternoon. And it's just going to make things a little bit harder for you going forward. So make sure you're respecting your trough. Make sure you are thinking about what your most high priority tasks are for the day and putting those right in your peak period when you're going to be the best, or as close to your peak period as you can manage, knowing that sometimes we have wacky schedules and we have other people that need us during our peak period. And do something nice for yourself in your trough period if you can. Take a little break, take a walk, maybe a nap. That's gonna really help you and set you up for success for the rest of the day when you start to recover and you can be a little bit more creative. All right, I hope that helped and gave you some insight into how you're planning your day and how you can work with the natural energy levels that you already have to make sure you're getting your highest priority tasks done during the peak, make sure you're nice and rested and giving your body and your brain a break during the trough, and help you recover a little bit faster in the evening so you can get to those fun, creative tasks. If you want to keep hanging out with me and if you want to keep thinking about the way that your brain thinks about time, I do have a nice little video over here on the screen that will be about how you think about time can affect what planner you should be using. So check that out over here, or you can come over with me on Instagram. I'm at Rachelle in Theory over there. And thank you guys so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I love you guys so much. I really, really appreciate that you've stayed subscribed, stayed to the end, are a new subscriber, however you found this channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.